The webinar will begin shortly. Please remain on the line. The webinar will begin shortly. Please remain on the line. The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
All right, all right, all right. Good afternoon, traders. When Vlad doesn't take vacation, I feel like it's so long in between. We meet Friday morning, and then it's not till Wednesday afternoon. It's literally like almost a week. And I get withdrawals. I get the shakes a little bit. Sometimes I cry. I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes I cry. Ted says it's because I drink too much coffee. That doesn't exist. You can't put those three words together and have it make sense. Too much coffee. Come on. Hello, LK. Good to see you. Wonderful Wednesday to you, Dennis. Thank you. Good afternoon, John. I missed you guys as well. 4 times a week would be magnificent. I'd love to do that. That would be my favorite. Welcome out, everybody, to the Tradespoon live trading room, stocks and options closing bell. The Wednesday afternoon hump session, as it's affectionately known. My name is Scott Beck. I'm the head trading coach here at Tradespoon. I will be your host. We will process this market and see what we think. Okay, let's get into it. That's me, trading for going on 24 years, teaching for 20 of those. That slide is old, and as I've said for years now, needs to be updated. I just probably never will. We'll just wing it to some extent. Here are the disclosures. Let me remind you that trading options in particular can be risky. We're not advisors, but we'll probably participate in the trades. This is for education purposes only. Have a plan, manage your risk, manage your psychology, and all will be well. All will be fine. Keep calm and carry on. Those used to be so. I was thinking about that sign. It was something brought it up to me, right? Keep calm and carry on. And for like so long, those were like so popular, and they had all their little, variations. Keep calm and drink more coffee, whatever. Anyway. I always like that. Keep calm and carry on. Yahoo says what? How long would it take? That said, how long would it take to update your slide? I mean, if I remembered it and did it and then saved it, I don't know, a minute, maybe 2 minutes. Your point's well taken. Dennis, well taken. Do it while we watch, but I don't even know where I have it saved. So it's a funny thing that happens is I pull it out of my email. It's so back ass words. I can't even begin to explain it. Like it's on me for sure. But I sent it to myself one time because I needed it when I was traveling, and then I just I had old slides on a different computer. Oh my God, it's a whole thing, it's a whole thing. So the one that I accessed is actually technically stored on Google, I guess. I don't know. Anyways, the largest contributor to inflation, housing, right? Housing, which has come down, but they're saying it's bottomed. That's some of the That's some of the news that I'm seeing. What are you seeing locally and anecdotally in your neighborhoods? Rents are pretty out of control for sure. I mean, it's an interesting thing. The S&P started up, then it dropped, then it rallied, then it dropped. Where are we now? We dropped. So it's been a volatile day. So you can see positive, negative, and we're negative now. The Dow, the same thing. The Nasdaq's down 0.64. The Russell's down about a third. So, the news was good. Inflation rises at the slowest pace in nearly 2 years. So what the Fed is doing is having an impact. They're looking to, look at that, 4% from a savings account. What? High-end market is down substantially. Yeah, and apparently in California, everyone's trying to sell their big old mansions because there's a new mansion tax or something. Have you guys heard of that? It's like, I mean, it's some outrageous number. 30 million, 20 million, I don't know. Some, like, if your house is over 30 million, and you're going to get taxed X%. And they're like, you bastards. You're like, you have a $30 million house, man. I'm not really going to feel sorry for you. So, yeah, there you go. Even if they bought it for 35 and they're selling it for 30, it's like, well, if you could afford a $35 million house, I'm not worried about you losing $5 million on it. Tough shit. Them's the breaks. All right. Come on, Scott. Get the ADD under control. Let's go. Let's get to it. There's not a lot going on, right? Gary Cohn on rate hikes. I'm in the 25 basis point camp. I don't think they're going to. Yeah, I think they're done for another. I don't think they're going to do it because we just got a quarter. Now they need to have one meeting where they're like, nope, we're not going to do it. We're going to let it sit. Bonds say yes. What is it? But the bonds before were saying a half and we got the quarter, right? So I don't know. I think when is the next meeting? We're really not that far away already, right? I always forget. I should just put it on my my calendar. Carmen's telling me she appreciates my humor. At least somebody does. My kids don't. That's for sure. FOMC calendar. FOMC calendar. March 2nd or May 2nd. Oh, God, that is right away. May 2nd and 3rd. 3 weeks from today. So, yeah, okay. What's it going to be? I think they'll let it go and let it carry into the summer. Eggs and other grocery prices start to crack. I've seen that. U.S. mortgage rate drops a 5th week to 2-month low. What's the rate? Oh my God, it's dropped for that long and it's 6.3 still? That's crazy. I think the first house I bought, our mortgage rate was about 6.5. And what year would that have been? 2000? Something like that. Somewhere around there. A little bit before my son was born. Okay. Yeah, that's about it. There's not a lot going on. I mean, the inflation was the news, right? Inventories are fine. Optimism index is up a little bit. That's got to be good, right? I don't really pay attention. Consumer price index down. Expected to be down more than expected. Expected to be down, met expectations. Expected to be down more than expected. Expected to be down, met expected. Actually, this one was up just a titch. But overall, that's as good as we can ask for. The minutes got released. I don't know, though. It seems like the minutes got released at 2. Is that what sort of was our last catalyst? Was the minutes? Sure enough, right? Sure enough, they released the minutes, and boom. So we didn't like what the Fed said. What was anyone read what the summary of the minutes were? Or did you read the minutes themselves? I guess is another possibility, but I'll be curious. I'm going to read them later, or at least peruse them. But yeah, the sellers are coming in. They're definitely, this was looking okay, and now we're coming back down, which not great, because that kind of has us bumping right up against this same old resistance, which was very near this old resistance, right? We got a little bit above it, but for the most part, not loving that. And it's it's hard to decide if this was an attempt at a bounce or if this is all still one consolidation. As of right now, for me, I'm still looking here. Some people might say, I don't want it to take this low out. I'm okay with that. If it comes down and it gets into this range, that's still a bounceable, tradable, bullish area for me. So I'm definitely keeping my eye on that. Remember that, tech has been leading, and we're going to go through and we'll look at it. But don't think this thing's over just yet. Let's stand in and see what we think. Anything else coming out? We've got PPI, and we got some PPI numbers tomorrow, so we'll get some more inflationary data. And then on Friday, we have retail sales, which is expected to be down. Of course it is. It has to be. If prices are going to come down, sales have to be down. It's a simple supply and demand economics. Okay, that's about it. What does the model say? Stella says we may have already seen it, and it's likely to bump from here. Stella is still firmly and convincingly bullish, at least on the SPY. Let's take a look at our other markets. QQQ, ooh, not as much. Little bit of, I wouldn't say weakness, but I would say hesitation, right? There's enough hesitation that the model's like, I don't know. The buyers should have come in. They didn't. Sellers are maybe a little stronger than we want them to be, and that's where we find ourselves. QQQ, let's look at the Dow, DIA. Okay. Man, look at that. Where does that come from? I don't know about that. The model thinks that there's going to be a small consolidation followed by an enormous jump on the Dow, on the blue chips. Woo, that's a lot to ask for right there. And if the Dow's the only one getting that momentum, that's actually kind of a scary implication, in my opinion. This looks better to see that the Russell and the small caps might get a little bit more momentum before a pullback, a consolidation. I mean, here's the deal. At the end of the day, overall, the model still is picking up on enough within the price action that it's bullish. What we see in the short term, well, that could be just a little bit different. Okay. Cyclically speaking, we're still expecting that, the rest of this month, here we are. And you can see there does tend to be a little bit of a hiccup, a little pause in the middle, and then a nice little 2-week smash up. Is that coming? Here's the quiz. This is yes or no. Are we going to rally in the second half of April? I need to know how you got what we're doing 2 quizzes today. This one we won't know until a couple more weeks. Or and I'm going to ask the 8-ball because this is a delightful yes, no question. Oh, Magic 8-ball. Will the markets rally in the second half of April? And the answer is yes, definitely. The Magic 8-ball says yes, definitely. That is not a ambiguous, right? That is like, okay, let's go. Um, yeah, very exciting. I've only got, come on, where's my people at? Where are my people at? John says no. Fred says no. Fred says shake the 8-ball again and give it another try. I'm always one for, I'm going to give everyone else a chance to answer. Yes or no? Do we rally or do we not rally? And the 8-ball says most likely. Most likely. I mean, that's positive enough. You average yes, definitely, and most likely, and you get a yes. Yes, it is. All right. I'm a little concerned about the participation levels today. Those of you who came with your B game, you know, I need more. I need more. I'm gonna leave it at that. I need more from everybody. Come on. Sean says I'm never on my B game. I personally don't have a B game. I've got an A game, and that's the end. That's it. A game. I can't bring what I don't have. So, okay, what does the map tell us? Tesla's not doing so well. Amazon was one we were looking at. We're on our Z game, it says. Where's the money going? We're going to have to do sector rotation today. Semiconductors don't look great. Microsoft's holding up, but technology's not great. Cyclical. Communication services. So the most of the green is like maybe here in industrials, a little bit in materials, a little bit in energy. Yeah, okay. NVIDIA was closed. NVIDIA was closed. Wasn't it closed? I thought we closed it all. I don't remember carrying it. Let me see. Let's pull it up. Let's pull it up. Oh. The original trade was closed back here. That's when we closed it, was back on the 4th. If not the 4th, definitely the 5th. I didn't put this back on. I'll tell you what, I thought about it right here. What day is today? Wednesday? I thought about it Monday. John said he took it. I cannot fault that at all. I was just like, should I, shouldn't I, shouldn't I? I was just sitting on the fence. Wasn't that comfortable sitting on that fence. I was just like, you know what? I'm going to hold off. I can't remember what it was. You got the pinch right here, right? I mean, you saw it close up, but at the end of the day, yeah, that's concerning, right? That is definitely concerning because that's a leader. But I do feel like, and I feel this way because of what I see, I do feel like we're seeing enough that we're possibly going to get another test of signals here. So okay, let's see. Where was I? Sector rotation. No, let's do a quiz. Then we'll sector rotate. Quiz first, then sector rotation. Pop it up. Oh, the sellers are they're just battering this thing down now. Slip sliding away. You can never go wrong quoting a Paul Simon song with me. I'm just saying. Slip sliding away. Let's see. How are we going to draw this today? 408. 408. That's the number. 409. A, B. I'm going to give Carmen, she went early. I'm going to give her a chance if she wants to change her answer. A, B, C. John's a D, but he's a C. Anything below 408. Dennis is a C. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Who else? Fred is a C, maybe a D. LK is a B. Brad is a B. Ted is a C. Carmen is Angelique. I have not seen Angelique for a while. I hope all is well with Angelique. Has she popped into the morning meetings and said hello? Not much. All right. I'm going to join LK and Brad. I think we're going to bounce. I think it's going to bounce, pop back up, and end up holding in that middle range, that B range. Yeah, I feel like that's okay. Okay. All right. Below 407 is a D, John said. A new category. Okay. Let's do a quick sector rotation to see, do we believe money's flowing somewhere else? So this is our basically our 9-month perspective. And man, it's been so long where it's like almost so many perspectives where energy is the leader, and it's hard to like a market like that. That's for sure. We've got industrials and technology holding up in this second position. Materials not far behind. Then we have with the markets, that's the healthcare staples, the market itself. Down on the bottom, we have discretionary and financials and utilities not far behind, right? And utilities not far behind. Okay. Let's change this to 133. We've got technology at the top now. Now you might be saying, "Oh, but it's coming down." Well, of course it's gonna go. It's gonna ebb and flow, just like anything. But it's at the top, right? Communication services at the top. Industrials, energy is up in this range. I think it is. I thought I saw it in here. Energy. and materials. So, okay, that's a good amount of bullishness there. It's got technology. It's got communication services. It's got industrials. It also has energy and materials, which that tends to continue inflationary pressures when we see those things high. But I think maybe we've seen the end of the volatility as far as those go. Let's take it down to 66 days. And now over the last 3 months, what do we see? We see tech, communication services, and discretionary. Those are the three that are leading basically since the beginning of the year. Which we've seen technology for a little while. We've seen communication services for a little while. Discretionary, we saw it early, but now John says, does financials at the bottom bring in some added concern? Yes, but also no. And why do I say that? Because I've seen a little bit of this in the pattern where we bottomed out, we went up, pulled back, and looked like we're trying to move again. Is it going to stay behind for a while? Yes, but does it seem like, Goldman, there's some things that are starting to like, hey, maybe this thing has put in a bottom, and there's something there for us. Maybe, just maybe. All right. Goldman, no triggers yet. I agree. We'll look at it, but let's go down to 22 days. Look at the most recent momentum. Whoops, that's 222 days. That's not what I want. 22 days. Who's at the top? Communication services. So communication services is your Meta, your Google, Disney, Netflix, telecom services, right? So watching for that there. Good afternoon, Charles. Good to see you. Okay. What else do we say? Lost my train of thought for a second. Market reverse. We'll see. Yeah, sure did. Sure enough. We still have technology up top. We have utilities, not great. Healthcare, not great. Is this Staples right here? I want to say Staples coming. So it's an interesting one because communication services and technology look strong, but the other above average sectors are defensive. Just consumer discretionary, utilities. There's some concern there, right? Most definitely some concerns. Okay. Let's go through the watch list. I'm skeptical that we're going to find a trade in this sell-off, although you can see we got a little bit of a turn. It's turned back up into the B territory by 3 pennies. By no pennies, it's back into C. I jinxed it. Oh, okay. Okay. There's a lot of time left. Let's get to our watch list. Let's see what the hell's going on. What the hell is going on? Alcoa. It's a lower high, right? Buyers really failed. Looks like it's rolling over. If I was feeling a little bit, I just, basic materials have been okay. This just doesn't look great. I'm not really interested. There's nothing there that I find to be very interesting. Apple. I think Apple's very interesting. Does anyone disagree? I mean, that's a really strong looking chart. And we know how important Apple is to the market. It's 11% of the NASDAQ. It's 7% of the S&P. Apple is an enormous component. Higher highs, higher lows. The selling is on. The volume is minimal. The stochastics looks like it's ready to turn. Whoops. That's what I meant, to draw that arrow like that. Ooh, pointing that way. Holding well, Charles. I agree. I agree. Fabulous. What else? It's on the list, right? As we look at what's going on in the market and the fact that technology has been a leading component, I have no reason to not think it's going to continue. No reason at all. So if that's the case, what am I looking for? I'm going to be looking for a continuation signal. And Apple is definitely a strong candidate to see it. Adobe's sitting right there too. It's pulled back. It's the second day in a row, but it's close. I would consider it. Looks like a big cup and handle. If you don't see what I see and you need me to put it in, there's my cup. There's my handle. If the handle holds, I'm willing to trade it. Looking for some confirmation here. Volatility is low. Yeah, put it on the list. Put it on the list. ADI, man, that's a little iffy, right? The chips are tough because, like I said 2 days ago, they gave a signal like, oh, we're going. And I'm like, is it going? I just didn't have as much of the setup as I wanted. It was very close. Still viable. There's Archer Daniels. Archer Daniels was one that we said, now that it's broken the consolidation, which it did, there it is. Then it comes down and it makes a higher low. We know that when it turns, which it did. Valid. If you're in it, if you're like, yeah, Scott, I'm in ADM, I'd be like, I hear you. Moved good one day, pausing now, so it's profitable, but what are you looking for? Well, I would imagine you're looking for this thing to get at least to 85, right? Something like that. That doesn't look as strong, but it's still value. It's still valid. That's still a viable trade right there. AMD showing the same choppiness that other chip stocks are showing. Bob, good to see you. Amazon, I'm in it still. Not in it. I was in it, got out. So we took this trade, and then it just sort of fell apart. We're like, okay, we'll wait. I'm not gonna take this one and make a little bit of money, and then not take this one and watch it pop up to 110 and be like, whoa, that was my trade I wanted. I'm ready to take the next one. Everything about this looks good. Where it is, what it's doing, yada yada. XP, nothing about this looks good. It's sideways at best. Earnings coming up. There's really nothing there for us. Boeing, nothing really there for us. Although Boeing was tough because, right here, it's like, was it going to? And it just never really gave. Like, you can see it's still pinching, but it hasn't turned. I don't know. I'll keep an eye on it, but it was a bit disappointing. Alibaba, all of a sudden taking a dump. Caterpillar. Industrials from this perspective don't look good. I'm not that interested. ConocoPhillips. Well, maybe. Costco. Oh, Costco was trying to recover. Everybody knows I'm a fan of Costco, but it's not holding up from technical analysis perspective. So, yeah, there's not much we can do with that, right? Okay. DBC looks better. I would love to see oil less volatile and just stabilize in a range, because it's continues to disrupt general market order, in my opinion. General market order. Okay. John Deere, that looks bearish, right? I mean, the sellers just smashed the hell out of it. Bam, look at that drop right through this support level. You can see now that old support is new resistance, finding some resistance right around that midpoint. Yeah, if this thing were to like stabilize sideways and then go bearish, yeah, I don't know. Industrials are looking less inviting. DIA. Well, the model says the Dow is going to do I use 6-month charts always? Yes, this is my starting point. However, you might notice that I'll come down here and I'll go in a click, which is cuts it in half, sometimes again, but not usually just once, because when you get here, if you're still on daily, I don't like that perspective, right? If I'm going to go below, so I'll go to a 3-month daily and I'll sometimes go to a 1-year daily. I've got to go out a little bit for that and do this. But 6 months is my favorite. Now, if I jump in, I'll go to a 20-day hourly chart to look at, that last month. I'm going to go to the hour or possibly to the 2-hour, where it looks like that. I will also look at a 3-year weekly, and I will also look at a 5-day, 5-minute. So in that order, right? I mean, that's just the 5-day, 5-minute. If I'm like, hey, how did today progress? Or if I'm like, hey, look how damn volatile the market is. I'm not going to trade swings. I'm only going to trade day. But I also like to look at the longer term, because that is institutional, right? It's more institutional. So great question. Hope that answers it. Let's go back out to the default. Disney in a battle with the governor of Florida. Seems to me like Disney's winning. Winning that battle. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Any Floridians weigh in? Dennis, that's your neck of the woods. I'm not sure. I'm curious how the locals see it. But Disney's not doing so well today, down 2.5%. FCX, one of my favorite for mining, Vlad as well, showing some strength, right? It's showing some strength. It's working on its second move. First move here, it broke, held, turned. There's a trade. Went up, came down, turned. There's a trade. It does, though, have this. So you'd have to be very, very careful with what you did with this. Okay. Okay. What's next? FedEx looks pretty bullish, actually. FedEx was one that we talked about and built a trade back here, and it just sort of grinded on up. So that one worked pretty well. Anyone else participate in that? Okay, Dennis. I think I see where you stand. Oh, love it. Oh, goodness gracious. Goodness gracious. Me, oh my. Yes, John said. Nope. Charles said. Okay. Well, it's setting up again, right? I ended up getting out here. I did not get these last couple of days. But it was a nice little move. I got 4 or 5 days. Took a good chunk here, and then the other half here. Oh, that makes it personal. That makes it personal. 100%. I appreciate that very much. And that's not really my spectrum as well, to be perfectly honest. But what are you gonna do? I'll tell you, for me, it's just too hot and humid. I don't like humidity. I'm a desert. Give me a dry ass desert. That's where I'm most comfortable. The drier, the better. China is not looking so good. Miami, not for you. Yeah, no, I lived in Miami for a couple of years in the 80s when I was a kid. And as a kid, you don't really notice either way. But when I went back, I'm like, holy shit, it's humid. It's way too much. Ooh, that humidity. Hawaii too. I hate it. Like, everyone's like, oh, let's go to Hawaii. I'm like, I hate Hawaii. I feel like I'm wet all the time. Nothing's ever dry. Like, it's not for me. Give me 4 seasons. Give me mountains. Give me desert. Good powdery snow. Some cacti, whatever. That's gold. Oh, I just don't know. Gold is an interesting one. I just haven't liked the way gold trades lately. There doesn't seem to be much rhyme or reason to it. It just sort of will like get a shot of momentum, and then it'll just lose it. Not a fan. Google looks pretty good. We added this recently, right? Google made a nice little run. Good trade here. And it moved, and then it's pulling back. And when it's done pulling back, looks like there's time for 25. So yeah. Now, something I was going to mention. So Goldman actually gave a signal here. We'll see what happens, but we are knocking on the door to earnings season, right? Remember, it's used to be for me Alcoa. But Alcoa is still pretty close to the beginning, right? That's on the 19th. But I think we're going to see somewhere between the 16th and the 18th. If we looked at financials, you're going to see the middle of next week. Not the 16th, but I would say the 18th to the... Yeah, so we're less than a week away from earnings season. So now we get corporate information, corporate news. So yeah, if you, I know Vlad will be, seeing an uptick in his earnings-based strategies. He is a fan, so I would say look for those to come into favor a little bit more, and go from there. Where was I? Google Goldman, IWM. Ooh, it's a big bearish engulfing pattern right there. Interesting day today. A lot of things. I actually thought MasterCard was starting to look okay. Not with this bearish engulfing pattern, I don't. Meta. I do want to see a consolidation. Earnings are a couple weeks from now. Maybe we have time to put the trade on, maybe not. We'll see. Marvell. Yeah, it's looking iffy. Microsoft is setting up. It's on the list with Apple with some of the chips. So you can see that it's primarily we have technology setting up. We've got some communication services setting up. Maybe a little bit of retail, a little consumer discretionary. Netflix, it's a little iffy, but it's trying, right? It's trying. I just don't think there's going to be time before. I didn't realize Netflix was so early in the cycle. That's on the 18th as well, Netflix. When did they move to the front of the? I swear there's shifts. I used to love the consistency of earnings announcements. We don't seem to have that these days. NVIDIA. Okay, now, even if I did consider this to be a drop, I'm still okay. I'm going to give it a little bit of room just based on how you don't want to miss that, right? So just based on how this moves, if it drops a little bit into this zone and turns, this thing comes down here and just kind of resets and turns, I'm good to go. Yeah, I'm fine with that. Oracle got bullish again. It's like broke to the downside of its basing pattern and then just took off. But it's in consolidation mode right now. QQQ still looks bullish overall, just not today. Starbucks, I need Starbucks to pull back, but there's my range. If it pulls back in there and this turns, I'm good with that. Silver's very bullish. Semiconductors, less so. Here's the SPY. Oof, looks like it's hanging out in C territory. We're down to our last 5 minutes here. Tried to make that move up here. Oh, and I jinxed it right there. I'm like, oh, look, it's going into B's. And the market's like, nope. Nope. And it rolled back over. What are you going to do? Tesla looks no bueno. Oof, that looks like a bearish engulfing pattern. Call it for the C's? Never. UNG gas just sitting at these historic lows, man. I can't remember. Yeah, right. I was like, I don't remember us being down this low. 666. Okay. Visa's looking a little better, actually. I would say that I'm starting to look to see who's gonna try to help financials reverse their course. I think there could be some prospects there. The VIX. Oh, we didn't even talk about the VIX. The VIX is just grinding it out. There's no signal here, but you can see we're in the escalation cycle according to this. This is going up. This is not. So if this goes up a little bit and it just gets up into, for me again, it's anywhere, I'd probably say in this range. Gets up here, turns. Yeah. That would be a nice bullish situation. Verizon, this is new. Oh, Verizon looks good. Telecommunications, communication services, that's where there's strength. We've got momentum. We've got a higher low. We have time before earnings. Put it on the list, right? Put it on the list. How much time do we have now? We're down to the last 2.5 minutes. A lot can happen in 2.5 minutes. A lot can happen. Financials. See what I said? See what I mean when I say like it looks like it's getting better. It's out of this downward drop. It gave us a little something more. Downturn and ready to go the next way. Last but not, oh no, we have a few more. XLI. Industrials looks just kind of right? Just a little iffy. John Deere does not look good. Caterpillar does not. Boeing looks okay. XLP needs a pullback, but consumer staples is getting better, but so is, well, actually, I would say in this situation, all of a sudden with today looking so bad for consumer discretionary, thank you, Tesla. I would say consumer staples is looking stronger than consumer discretionary. How about RTX? Is that Raytheon? Is that defensives? Let's see. Whoops. RTX. Sorry. Got to get it in. How much time do I have? 33 seconds. Yeah, RTX looks okay. I mean, it kind of popped up a little bit, higher low. That looks reasonable. Maybe some defensiveness coming out. Okay, let's go to the SPY. We are down to our last 15 seconds. I've got to be ready to call it. 407.80. And look at that. Look at that. It's jumping. 408.05. 408.11. Closing. Look at that. At the buzzer. Bees. We did it. It was a team effort. Anyone who went B, like I feel like we stuck the course. We felt good. We got the win right at the end. We never lost hope. There you go. All right, I got to run. I will see you guys Friday morning. Bring your coffee. Let's see if a few of these signals show up and turn, and let's see if we get the rest of this spring rally that we're hoping for. I'm on board for it. I'm a yes. Me and the 8 ball. Enjoy the rest of your day. Enjoy your spring if it's springing where you are, and I'll see you Friday. As always, happy trading.